Hi, everyone, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday. We're glad to have you with us for today's presentation featuring Julio Castro, Regional Sales Director of Prompt Technologies. Julio will discuss new technologies available to create and run PM procedures electronically utilizing wireless connectivity from test equipment. Attendees will learn how to automate, streamline, and capture a detailed electronic report of all service work. See how to easily archive and transfer that information to a wide range of databases to reduce the administrative overhead that biomedical engineers face today. Webinar Wednesday would like to thank our sponsor, Prompt Technologies. Prompt Technologies' mission is to provide innovative products to refine and streamline the biomedical and support process. Biomeds in the field need equipment that is portable, affordable, rugged, reliable, and easy to use. They design and manufacture specialized diagnostic tools that are tailored for this environment. Their innovative designs have been granted 17 patents worldwide. For more information, please visit prompttech.com. A few announcements before we get started today. We're already planning the 2022 MD Expo in Atlanta, Georgia. MD Expo strives to provide healthcare technology management professionals with a unique, intimate, and rewarding conference second to none. You don't want to miss our 20th anniversary celebration next year. Please visit mdexposhow.com for details. Let's give one lucky attendee the opportunity to win a Webinar Wednesday shirt by answering the following question. In what year was Prompt Technologies founded? You can find the answer by visiting our sponsor's website, and you can answer the question by using the questions feature on the GoToWebinar dashboard. As always, today's webinar is eligible for one continuing education credit from the ACI. You can obtain your CE certificate by completing today's post-webinar survey. More details on this at the end of today's webinar. We'll wrap up today with a live Q&A with Julio. You can submit your questions anytime during the webinar by using the questions feature on the webinar dashboard. We'll get through as many attendee questions as time allows. As I mentioned earlier, today's speaker is Julio Castro. Julio, you may begin whenever you are ready.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone who's taking time out of their busy day to attend Webinar Wednesday. These are great programs put together to provide information we believe will be beneficial to helping you in performing the service and the important responsibilities that you have out there maintaining and servicing medical devices. So we want to have a really interesting discussion here, introduce some things that we think will be beneficial for you. And so we're going to cover a wide range of topics, starting with the challenges in completing preventative maintenance and trying to piece these things together. Regarding collecting test results, what are the benefits of that? Some companies do that, collect test results, some people don't. You know, what are the pros and cons there? There are tools available to us now that are more advanced than what we used 5-10 years ago that can really help us in this regard. And we have new options being able to help us streamline our processes to improve the level of service we can provide. And then there's also another component to this that's real important that has made a lot of evolution, and that's using CMS systems out there that help with this data integration, help with managing all of these service-related tasks that we have to complete. So there's obviously some big challenges that are always affecting the HTM community. First of all, you have thousands of devices out there that require management, including scheduled and unscheduled service. We have product updates. We have a lot of activity revolving around medical devices throughout a healthcare facility in the number of thousands, tens of thousands in some cases. And so it requires a method to be able to manage all these sorts of activities. You have that and you combine it with the shortage of HTM professionals in an industry, and that kind of further creates added pressures and challenges to be able to meet all of these needs. And then you have the best practices. What should we be utilized? What best practices should be utilized when we're performing the service? What is the right thing to do when we're servicing that medical device, be it preventative maintenance, be it repair, an update. What are the actions we should take to feel confident that the service was done to the best of our ability? How do I document the service that was performed? What should I document? How should I document it? What information is important to kind of collect and retain as a record? And then how do I ensure compliance to the hospital, to regulatory standards, your own organization's quality standards? What should I be doing to make sure I'm performing the service compliant to those requirements? So bridging the gaps, you have the important tool, which is the individual HTM professionals, very valuable asset. And then you have the processes about how to manage all of these service activities and the need to kind of connect these pieces together. And that could be quite challenging. In conjunction with that, you have this added pressure of we're having a new generation of technicians coming into the marketplace. Our senior engineers have spent a lot of their career the past 20, 30 years, and it's time for them. They've chosen in some cases to retire and go on and do other things. So we have to be cognizant of that and take that information from our senior engineers and really leverage it to help build the future. And aside from having product training from a new clinical engineer coming into the marketplace and into their job, I really believe that strong mentorship program within the organization is critical. You can't replace experience, knowledge on how to service medical devices. Medical devices tend to have their own personalities, as I like to say, and understanding various failures and what could be the root cause of various failure is a lot of times learned through experience. And senior engineers have this level of experience. They have knowledge about the most efficient way to go about addressing a particular issue. So leveraging that information, that knowledge base is really important. It's important to do that and not let that kind of slip out the door as those senior engineers retire. We want to establish and I think maintain some type of guide, some procedures, some standardization about, well, how should we go about doing this service? That's really an important tool to kind of connect these things together. You have to look at advanced tools that are available now in terms of test equipment and databases, CMS systems as important tools to ensure the consistency in service and also to provide a centralized way to kind of manage everything so that you don't have to kind of do this manually or do it by having basic spreadsheets available to know what to do and how to do things. So you have really great tools available to us to help kind of connect these pieces together. So a big debate, and we travel around the country and we ask different organizations, what are you doing in terms of how you're utilizing your test equipment, data collection? Do you do these sorts of activities? What's important to you? And it's interesting because you get a wide range of responses. There's definitely organizations that are very keen on having complete information, not only what was tested, but what were the test points, what were the test results. And you have other organizations that believe that follow the quality policy of, well, we only will report a failure. We only report by exception. We don't report that everything passed. We report only when things are failed, and we collect that information. And then you have other organizations that are strictly pass-fail. I have work to do. I did the work and it passed, and that's the extent of it. And so there's definitely a wide range of schools of thought behind data collection, but we think it's important to kind of look at this and really see how it can really help us. The important thing about equipment automation and including that with the data collection is that it helps establish a consistent process. You have a team of people, it could be a small team or even a large team, and trying to manage to make sure that everyone is kind of performing the service at the same level, performing the same quantity of steps or requirements for doing that service. It really helps have a guide, establish processes that can be applied throughout the department, be it a new engineer, be it a senior engineer, everyone is kind of performing the service in the same way. And this helps also to reduce the time it takes to do the PM because you have a good reference here that tells me, okay, A to Z, or here are the points I need to cover when I'm doing the service that's required. And it allows the HTM professional to focus on what they do best and what they enjoy the most, which is actually doing the actual service, the maintenance, and not spending excess time trying to find the tools they need, be it the procedure, the manual, or talking to another individual about how do I go about doing this. So it really does help them stay focused on the job at hand, and also reduce the administrative side and having to capture things manually, report things manually into whatever system you're using to capture the fact that the work was complete. And the detailed records provide greater confidence in the service that was performed to the end user. Particularly if you're an independent service company, you want to be able to provide your customer information. Look, I did the service, here's what I did, here's all the details regarding that service. For your own compliance requirements, it provides a level of confidence. Look, the service was performed, and here are all the steps that were taken to ensure that. The improved, you also have improved accreditation compliance. You have more complete, efficient, detailed electronic records that from an auditing point of view provides greater confidence. If you have a quality system, you have a process within your department that is thorough and complete. And it could also actually really be a big aid when you're investigating any patient incidents. As you know, if there's a patient incident, you have to quarantine the equipment, you have to investigate what occurred in the incident, but also go back in time and find out what actually happened with that medical device. What is its service history? What is its maintenance history? What was found throughout these various points of inspection? And these can really help in narrowing down root cause analysis on what could have occurred for that patient incident, and also help give confidence to the auditor that the clinical engineering department, the HTM professional, is completed their work and to their best of their ability, and there's no issue with how the service was maintained on that device. So we want to really look at investing tools that raise the level of our service that we provide. As we mentioned, there's a lot to manage here. And so it's important to try to connect all these critical processes together. A lot of times we have to kind of manage them independently, and we can't really connect these things together to help have the information readily available so I can be as effective as I can in performing the service to the best of your ability. And so you have the key components to servicing medical devices, and these are just examples of some key ones. There's definitely other components as well, but you have the actual work order in some form, either from your database or some other way you're managing it, that's basically saying these devices need to have this work done to them, and it needs to be done within this time frame. So that's an important component. You need to know these things. You need to also know, well, what am I supposed to do as a technician, as an HTM professional, on this work order, on this requirement to do the service? What am I supposed to execute and perform? So you need to have access to a procedure I can actually walk through and follow, and not have to spend excess time trying to understand exactly what the steps are involved to do the service. You also have the actual test equipment. You want to really kind of connect that as well to these things so that they could be as an effective tool as possible in performing the work. You have the service reports. You need to define, well, what do I want as the output, as the final result to look like? What should that information be? What am I capturing? When am I reporting it? And so you want to have all that because it ties together from the very beginning what was necessary, what was required to be done. You have the procedures that tells you how, and then you have the test equipment helping you execute them, and the service reports as the proof that the work was complete. And then you have a database. If you have a means to have a database or invest in a CMS system, you really want to look at that as an important tool to help connect all of these pieces together in a synergy so that it helps you be as effective as possible. And we'll talk about that in more detail. So these are really critical components to help improve and raise the level of service we can provide to our customers. So you want to invest in tools that really help support the future as well, not just something that is good for today, but we know the HTM service world evolves over time as new devices, medical devices come into marketplace, new technologies, even from a commercial point of view, become available that help us be more effective in our work. So CMS systems have advanced tremendously, and they also have gotten to the point where they can really improve our ability to manage and execute all our service-related activities in a real useful way. You have systems that you want to invest in that include effective tools for creating electronic procedures in a non-cumbersome way, in an easy way to kind of create them. You don't want to just be able to utilize a system that gives you access to a service manual, but something that helps you create and actually tailor a procedure to the work order to that medical device so that you know exactly how to do it and find that information in one location. You want to really consider a CMS system that include integration of the test equipment. Test equipment has also evolved quite a bit to a point now where we can kind of connect these pieces together. And you want to really consider using CMS systems that have this as a standard feature, not something that can be done as an added expense, as an added customization to the system, but something that's kind of part of the standard option that's there. So that allows you to have something available on day one and allows you to connect your equipment right to your CMS system. The test equipment, you also want to really look at your test equipment. That has evolved tremendously as microprocessor technology has improved, allowing test equipment that have a lot more processing power, along with new display technology that makes it easy to kind of have a user interface that's more intuitive and has more information available to you. You want to look at test equipment that allows you to create and testing protocols on the devices. That's evolved quite a bit. A lot of different equipment out there that allows you to do that now, and those could be really helpful tools because it allows me to kind of define what are my tests, what are my pass-fail limits. They can collect information, and so it's just a good added feature to help the technician have a good reference on what needs to be done on various types of medical devices. The electronic connectivity is an important thing to look at. That's becoming more advanced as well. Do I have the ability to transfer test results onto my work order, capture test results where I need to be able to complete the work and have it properly processed? You want to make sure that these pieces are connected together so that you can really eliminate the manual completing of service records. As I said, we travel to hospitals and customers nationwide, and it's amazing how many departments still are having to manually kind of track what service was done on what device, and they have their Friday days of administrative work where they are there in front of their computers and literally entering in all the work that they had completed for that week into their database, into their system to close out their work order. So they're literally writing down by hand what devices need to be serviced, what I did, and let me close out my work order manually. And so it's a lot of administrative downtime that you have having to do these things manually. There's even some departments that hire strictly an individual that their purpose is to transfer the data from the technician into the database. So there's lots of room there to improve that process, to really minimize that and reduce, of course, the possibility of any transcription errors or errors in transferring data manually in that way. And then you have new wireless technologies that allow us to really connect these pieces together. So you have wireless connectivity between the test equipment and other devices and to your CMS, and so it allows us to have the freedom to be able to perform the service without having to kind of be tethered to your laptop or to your PC. So you want to invest in tools with flexible use as well. Test equipment that not only can be used with a CMS system, but if that's not a component that's available to you, you're not utilizing it, that you have these customization, these automation features that can be utilized as a standalone feature as well. You want to have tools that can be expanded as new features are introduced. As we know, our industry evolves a lot, and so you want to be able to have a product that you can kind of build on, and it can expand its capabilities as you grow or as new requirements come into the marketplace. So you don't want to have something that has just a locked set of functions and that cannot be expanded as new features are introduced. So you want to have that expandability in terms of your test equipment. Programmable features, you want to be able to set up the equipment the way you need it to be used for your testing protocols that match what the medical device is required to do. Try to minimize the need to have to manually navigate through various menus to manually perform these tests. If you can customize the setup of the test equipment that allows you, okay, I need to do these set of tests on this device, let me just see that information, see those tests, and kind of put everything else into the background, allows me to be more efficient when I'm doing my service work. You want to look at tools that provide flexibility in collecting electronic test results. You know, there's, aside from whether I should collect them or not, there is really a lot of advantages in a lot of ways. You can kind of automatically do this without the need for a lot of administrative work on the technician's part. And so having this ability is something that really is important. And you also want to know, well, what can I do with those results? Well, how can I move them? How can I transfer them? How can I archive them? So having those flexible tools is really a big help as well. Also, well, along with that is, can I integrate it to my database, my CMS system? Do I have that ability? Maybe you won't utilize it today, maybe you do want to, but having something that has that capability allows the equipment to kind of grow as your department organization grows as well. You want to make sure that if you do utilize electronic records, that they support various methods of transferring the information. There's different databases out there. They all don't communicate in the same way. They all have their communications protocols, so they're not identical. And so you need to have various methods to be able to kind of make sure you can make those connections to your systems. You want to have alternate methods for using the applications, the test equipment. Maybe I don't have an advanced CMS system. Maybe I don't use one at all. And I may want other methods to be able to move information around or archive information. So you want to, again, look at things that I can use with my CMS, but also give me options if I don't have one I'm incorporating at the moment. So companies are developing new tools across the board that we really should look at. Test equipment capabilities have advanced a lot. They add more functionality to be able to create detailed procedures, or what are referred to a lot of times as auto sequences, to improve efficiency and accuracy. So you've probably heard this term a lot, but if you really analyze some of these features in the test equipment, they've really created some advanced capabilities to be able to help you have a method to more efficiently and accurately perform that service. CMS systems are also adding test equipment control, not only connecting and transferring information, but now you can actually control the test equipment from the actual CMS system itself directly, and within the actual work order that that the technician is following to complete that work that's required. And that's built as a standard feature within that system. So you don't have to necessarily kind of work offline. CMS systems are now adding this connectivity, which really helps be more efficient, more effective when doing the service. And we'll show you a little bit more about that in a moment. So this eliminates the need to kind of work offline, transfer data later, or if you're manually transferring information, to have to kind of get in front of your computers on your Fridays or Mondays and manually enter that information into the system. Why not just have the information go directly in there as you're working? So CMS companies have also improved greatly the tools to easily create a library of procedures relating to the medical device. So it's not as cumbersome as maybe it was 10, 20 years ago to try to create some procedures on what needs to be done for this particular device to be serviced. And these procedures can be customizable. They're user definable. You can add a lot of information in there or have as little as you want. That this is the guide for the technician to know exactly what needs to be done for that service. And as I mentioned, wireless communication capabilities provide really an extra level of freedom so that I can be in front of the medical device with just what I need. I don't have to carry my computer around or reference my computer to know what to do. I can just do this all wirelessly now to get my work completed. So we have been partnering with the HTM community and working with, well, how can we help improve all of these pieces that that are difficult in some cases to manage. So we've been reaching out, of course, to our customer base and even customers that we don't, people that are not necessarily our customers, and also partnering with the CMS companies to see, well, what can we do to really help connect these pieces together? And so we've been working on introducing a platform we call Mobilize. And this platform is designed to wirelessly connect the test equipment to a device that you probably already have, either from your company yourself, a smart device, and then also connect it to your CMS system or a database, depending on how far you have those pieces kind of available within your organization. And so the basic concept is to have the ability to have the Mobilize application on your device, to be able to enter or scan the barcode on the medical device that needs to have the service provided, that it would open up your testing protocol for that device, execute the required tests that need to be done for that device, and then be able to, as you're working, it just creates an electronic report and collects that information in the background as I'm performing the tests. So it's not as if I'm having to kind of create and type in a report. The report is being generated as you go. And so the concept is to be able to be more efficient, more effective in having these pieces connected together. So the wireless product lines, the Mobilize products as we call them, is a Bluetooth, a low energy Bluetooth technology to your Apple device. That's the first platform we've decided to roll this out with. And it allows you to not only communicate to it, but you have control of the test equipment. You can create and execute customizable tests that you define that need to be run. And you can capture all those results live, as I mentioned, onto your smart device. And so we've introduced this a couple of years back with our safety analyzer when we introduced our first generation app, but now with the Mobilize platform, we're expanding it to include other products, the infusion pump analyzer, our SimCube, and our OxSim simulator products. So the concept is to add wireless capabilities to these products, so now I could do more things with them and connect the dots to my procedures, my test equipment, and my database CMS systems that I'm using. And the nice thing is that there is not one set of methodology that our industry uses for performing service. As I mentioned, you have different quality systems and different requirements that organizations follow that fit best for their needs. And so we didn't want to create an app that is kind of fixed in one method you can use them. So the Mobilize platform allows you to utilize it in a variety of ways. One, you can create your own testing protocols on the device itself, on our application itself, where you can combine different tests within the medical device that's being serviced. And so I can have those bundled tests within one protocol and then execute them and have those results captured. Or if you have electronic checklists, or you have a CMS system that does support electronic procedures, you can have those procedures pushed to our app, our Mobilize app, and you could follow your procedures on the application and execute the tests that you require your technicians to follow. And so these are more step-by-step instructions that include not only manual tests of visual inspection, powering up units, but also if there's tests involving the test equipment, it will go and perform those tests and collect that information. And then you have the third methodology, which is, okay, I want to really just work from my CMS system. I want to have control right from the work order within the CMS system. I don't want to have to go work outside of it. I want to control the test equipment. I want to tell it what to do, and I want the information to come right back as I'm working through the work order live within that system. So this is direct control. So you have control of the test equipment. You have a live data transfer coming back to it. And so it allows me to kind of work in that way if that's the preferred system that you want to use for your technician. So various methods to use the product, tailor it to your needs and what works best for your organization. So the basic idea is that you have your Mobilize test equipment products. The technician creates the required tests that have to be done via your CMS system, via the app itself, and then as the commands or the requests are coming into the Mobilize platform, they are pushed, those commands are pushed out to the test equipment that it applies to, and these commands go out to multiple pieces of equipment if that's what is required, so that you can perform simultaneous tests. So it's not done serially, it's done in parallel. So all this information gets sent saying, okay, go and perform these tests. And you could do this for electrical safety, for simulation, infusion, and also defibrillator analyzer. And so we've designed this platform not only to be for our Mobilize products, but we're also have designed it to incorporate other manufacturers' products that we feel are good strategic partners for the HTM community to add those products into the Mobilize platform as well. And then once those devices perform the required tests, they would send their test results back to the app itself, or send it to the app all the way through to the CMS system if you're controlling it from the CMS system itself to collect the results to the location that you want the information to go to. So Mobilize, as I mentioned, has a variety of ways it can be utilized. There is the checklist method that we'll show you here is about having a procedure that's very step-by-step from the CMS systems that it can be viewed on the Mobilize app. There's step-by-step instructions with pass, fail. Maybe you want the technician input certain information. That can all be done. It wirelessly is conducting all these activities, and it can communicate to the safety analyzer. So you can have procedure steps that say safety analyzer execute these tests. You do that for the patient simulators, a defib analyzer. We have partnered with a company I'm sure you're familiar with, Daytrend Systems, to partner with them to add the Mobilize solution to their defib analyzer. And so we can communicate to that defib analyzer via the Mobilize platform and have it execute tests and send the data back to our platform as well. So that is available, and also an infusion pump analyzer is available. And so we're going to continue to work on not only these products, but expand the product line to other products that the industry feels, hey, look, these are important other test equipment tools we'd like to see incorporated into this as well. And we're going to go ahead and do that. So let me show you a little bit about how this actually works. So I'll play this. And so the basic, here's a screenshot of the home screen of the application. You have your header information here at the top, which is customizable. I could manually enter in the ID of the device, or I could use the barcode scanner that's part of the smart device, and I could scan the barcode on the medical device to automatically open up the required procedure. You can see here the application has 3 different modes you can use it in. What we call checklist mode, which is the step-by-step procedures generally driven from the CMS system. You have what we call device type, which are the onboard testing protocols you can create and customize. Or if you're just doing a basic safety inspection and you only want to do safety testing, you can use it in that mode as well. So the idea is to go up to the medical device you're going to use. If you have a barcode scanner, scan that barcode of the device. It's going to save that on there, and it's going to automatically open up the procedure for that device. So these are your procedures. You've designed them, you've tailored them to what you need, and they could be as thorough and as basic as you'd like. And so you can see here, for each step involved, the technician has to follow the guide on what needs to be done performing the service. So the great benefit of this is that you have a step-by-step guide to know what needs to be done on a particular test. If there is a step involving a piece of test equipment, you'll see the run key here. And in this case, it goes out to the Daytrend Phase 3 analyzer. It's communicating to it via our Mobilize platform, and it's saying, hey, we want to just capture some basic information in here. We want to collect the serial number of the device and the date it was calibrated so that we can have that as part of our record. So it can exchange information between the two things and continue back on to the checklist. The technician is following each step-by-step procedures in performing those steps. Again, here you can see there's a case here where we need to check the hands-free side, make sure our heart rate is accurate. And so you have a command here back to the Phase 3 again saying, hey, let's do a heart rate test. And so this information here is the guide for the technician to know what to do. These are all user definable in terms of what information and what targets you want to have. And then you would have the analyzer execute that test. The technician confirms that the result is correct. You would pass or fail that device, go on to the next test. And so you're executing the test per the procedure, and you're having the equipment go back and transfer that data back to the application, and you're just working. So all that information is being collected in the background, and it's doing the test. So you can see you can do a wide range of tests. We're going to do a cardioversion sync test here on the Phase 3. It gives the technician instructions on what to set it to, what are the test points, what should the result be within. And in this area here, once the test is complete and the analyzer has responded back with the result, it would get automatically populated in this field here. So it allows us to see that the Daytrend defib analyzer has finished the test. It produced a result of 202 joules, and the delay, the R wave shock delay, was 23 milliseconds, which is well within the spec here. And so it allows you as a technician to know, okay, I performed the test, here's the result, it passed, and I keep going. And so wherever you have tests that have to be executed, it's going to go ahead and communicate to whatever that device is and have it execute that test. And so it allows us, as technicians, as an organization, to feel confident, look, I'm sure that all the steps were done. I have the information coming directly from the test equipment itself, and things are happening and data is being collected as accurately as possible. There's also setup instructions here. If you need to set up particular things and configure them, those steps can be part of the procedure as well, helping give the technician a guide on, okay, let's go ahead and set up the medical device in a particular mode so we can do particular tests. And again, it will go and execute that test and give the technician instructions on what needs to be done, and the data comes back here to be collected. And so it allows us to really be much more efficient in knowing what am I supposed to do for that service, for that medical device. No guesswork at all, it eliminates all that. Now, if you have other devices or other tests, in this case, I need to also do an SpO2 test. So you can see at the top here, it says, let's run an SpO2 test of this at this particular pulse rate. You have the values here that have automatically been sent to the simulator saying set those values. And here, if you'd like, you can also program pass-fail tolerances. So based on the result that's captured, the application would automatically tell you whether that result is within range or out of range. And so I could do this for a wide range of products. More instructions here on what to do in terms of the setup of the analyzer. If you need to do other tests for different parameters, you can have all those done separately. You can combine them into one step, so you don't have to do them serially. Up to you. This particular procedure wants a technician to do them one step at a time, and so that's why you see it kind of laid out this way. So now I want you to go do an NIBP test at this particular heart rate, at this systolic and diastolic value, and capture the result that's seen on the medical device. So these are all user programmable. Set them up the way you would like in terms of the test points and the tolerances and the data you want to capture. So you can see here we've used a defib analyzer review simulation, and now we're going to go ahead and do the last test in this particular procedure, which is to do the safety test. So it automatically goes to the safety analyzer and it says, let's run these series of tests. It's executing each one of the tests. In the center here, it's the measured values in terms of the leakage, and at the bottom here, it's displaying how much current draw the device under test is drawing during these tests. So I have executed a bundled test of electrical safety tests to run. It's going to automatically do that, and without the technician having to do any interaction, that information is being captured. So it allows me to really see and capture everything and have a complete test report. So I've done all this work and the test report was automatically generated. It captures all of the information, including all of the test parameters, the results, the testing protocol, or the procedure that had to be done. And you can add notes into the report. You can actually capture images of the medical device in there as well. Maybe you want to capture some damage that happened on the medical device. You can actually turn your camera function on, capture that image as part of the report as well. Or some customers don't want to capture all of the test results. They want to just take a snapshot of the front of the medical device and capture the actual measurements that were being taken at that time, and they could do that as well. So again, trying to give you flexibility to use the application in the way that works best for you. And then you have a variety of ways you can move this information around that best fits your organization, including traditional ways of generating PDFs and sending them, printing. You have cloud drive connectivity and also CMS integration capability so that I could just send the data right over to my CMS system. So you can see here the header information of the device that we serviced. So it has a custom header information that you've created and modified per the account you're at or the device that you're servicing. And you also have really important information that customers told us they really wanted to see, which is the equipment detail. What test equipment did I actually use? So here you have a list of everything that was used for this procedure. I have my safety analyzer, the safety sim, my day trend defib analyzer, SimCube NIBP simulator, and our SpO2 simulator, the Oxen. Not only that, but you have the serial number information of those devices and the date that those devices were actually calibrated. So not just that you used a particular serial number, but look, I used a serial number that was calibrated and is within its calibration date. Because we know when we're being audited by Joint Commission, DMV, or another auditing agency, not only they want to know, well, show me the work that you did, but show me that you're actually using test equipment that was within the calibration date, and how better to demonstrate that than by having it on the actual report itself. And then you have your test results. You have everything that we did. You have here the electrical safety test that was done, the name of the test that we ran, the date and time, the line voltage during the actual testing, current draw of the medical device, and then each an individual test, whether they passed or failed, the test conditions, and then the measured values here in the center. You capture all the measured values. I didn't have to write anything down. I didn't have to do anything to transfer that data. It just came across. And then in parentheses, you have your actual standards, your test, your pass-fail limits that were designed by you, created by you, you've designed. Here's what my pass-fail criteria is for these devices. And then if you have an overall pass or fail for that bundle of tests. Then you have the same thing below that for all of the other checklist steps that we just ran through. It will list the individual steps that we were required to do, and it captures the information where data had to be captured is part of the service performed. As you can see down here, number 8, we have the energy that was captured for the defibrillation and the delay during that cardioversion test that we did. And so all of the test results would be on this report, and you would have a pass, fail of everything passed, or a fail if any one test failed. So just gives you a nice, complete report without having to manually do any extra work to obtain it. And so the application can store up to 1,000 records itself, or if you're transferring data live, you don't have to worry about it. But if you do need to use or if you prefer to use the Mobilize solution as a standalone solution, you could save up to 1,000 records on it itself. So we were talking earlier about CMS connectivity, and there's really been some great advancements in this area here that I wanted to share with you. There's companies out there that really are forward thinking in how they're developing connectivity capabilities. One company here, True Asset CMS, it's a database that gives you live access to all of the features of the CMS system. So I don't have kind of a pared down Mobilize app version with limited features. It's a single system. All the features are always available to the technician. It also has built in as a standard feature connectivity to test equipment. So I don't have to kind of work outside of the system. I can work within it and have the control of the test equipment and execute the test and have the results come back. You can have all this information automatically populated in the work order, so I don't have to manually get in front of my work order system and do that. And it's a standard option, as I mentioned. There's no customization cost to kind of add that connectivity. They have designed it already into the system, and so it allows us to have something ready to go on the day one once we purchase and want to use that system. So you can kind of see here a screenshot of the work order within the True Asset system. Gives you demographic information about the facility. You could see here information about when it was created, the priority of the work that needs to be done, and then information about the device itself. And that's part of the work order here. And I can also see that the work order has a line here for procedures. And this procedure line would be the guide for the technician to know, okay, I need to go out and perform this fixed set of procedures. And these can be as detailed or as basic as you'd like. You have full control over creating these procedures. You can see this particular procedure has the need to run a safety analyzer test. And so the technician would just press that button within the True Asset work order itself, and it would give the technician the options to pick what test do they want to run. So these are all user definable tests the technician can select from to say, I need to go run this electrical safety test on this medical device. They would select the one they want to run, and then it would wake up the application, and it would start to tell the test equipment, run those tests. The technician can see here the tests that are being performed, so they could see here that the testing is occurring. It's collecting all of the test results for each one of those tests, and it's going to be completing all of those tests. And once it is done, it just kind of fades back into the background. So I'm not leaving my True Asset database, I'm just executing the test. And once I come back to True Asset, once the tests are done, you can kind of see here that my information is automatically populated. So I have here the test that was done. You have here all of the names of the tests. You have whether each test passed or failed. You have the measured values of each test and what the test limits are. So seamlessly I can work from my work order, I could execute the test on the test equipment, and I could have that data collected right back in here. And so this interface is designed to support the product safety analyzer, the simulators. We're working on the infusion tester, and we'll be also completing the defib analyzer. So not only is the Mobilize platform expanding, but CMS companies like TrueAsset are also quickly able to add more features into the database, all as standard features available to users. And so that will be a big benefit to the industry, we think. And so you can also have other requirements for testing for your device. If you have other things that you want the technician to do, visible inspection, display, whatever you want the technician to do, I could just work from the work order here and have it completed. So really, this is a good example of a CMS system that is providing advanced tools. There are other CMS companies that are looking to do the same thing, but we think this is a great way to consider streamlining your workflow by being able to work within one system and get everything done and know what needs to be done and have all the data collected in one location. There's other CMS companies that are also investing in providing tools that are tailored to HTM community processes. Here's another example of one. This is kind of a newer company coming into the marketplace. This system is really designed strictly for just service-related activities, not a hospital-based CMS system, but something that's just for independent service organizations that are looking for a way to be compliant to completing the work for doing service. It also allows you to communicate to multiple pieces of test equipment. It has the ability to give you control in defining the tests. You can also work directly from their database, know exactly what work needs to be done per the devices. And this system is specifically designed for compliance to accreditation for collection of data and data reports that are required for ambulatory care facilities throughout the nation. So it's really been designed by service engineers for just performing the service work. And it's really an intuitive system that allows you to know exactly what needs to be done here. You have the organization, you have the ability to scan the barcode as we saw in other demonstrations, where I can go ahead and have a work order here. It gives you the demographic information of that device. As I said, you have the ability to know what do I need to do on this particular device. And then you have your control panel here for your test equipment. So again, I could work from my control panel here, my test equipment. I could, as a technician, have the flexibility to select the right test, or if you want to kind of lock that and control that more, you can kind of lock that down. In this case, I can pick a test, and these are customer-defined tests, and they define them as electrical safety test, no switch, electrical safety test, no ground, etc., EKG. So these are user-definable tests. I can edit them. I could customize what the names are and what tests they need to execute. And I could do that for safety. I could do that for simulation, and so on. So again, it gives the technician the ability to work from one place, be able to know what kind of test do I need to perform, select those values. If you want to modify the values, you can modify the values on the fly. Up to you as an organization, what flexibility you want to give your technicians, or whether you want to have preset values. The systems allow you to have that control and flexibility if you'd like. And then once you, as a technician, want those tests to be performed, it wakes up the Mobilize platform, which will communicate to the Mobilize products and tell it to execute the tests. So again, just another example of added flexibility and advancements in CMS technologies that are allowing us now to work in one place. No need to have supplemental systems to be able to get all my work done. And then it's going to go and execute all of those tests. So we completed our safety test. Now it's saying, technician, make sure that you also do this other test that's required here. And so you have the targets, which are automatically sent to the test equipment, saying, okay, set it to these values, confirm on the medical device what the results are so we can capture that and finish our test. So it's a good way to be able to work within our database, and you can see here, collect all of our information here as part of the report and have that be able to continue to the rest of the work order and have it all done. You're working as you're going, no need to do with this kind of after the fact. So a couple of examples there. There's more. There's other companies looking to do this, but I thought these would be two great examples of advanced features that really give us the ability to be much more advanced in how we're actually managing and performing the service. One other thing that we've gotten a little feedback on is the cumbersome or the complexity in having to manage preventative maintenance stickers, PM stickers. And so we've actually partnered with a commercially available PM stable label maker, a brother label maker that allows us to communicate to that portable printer via Bluetooth to our Mobilize platform as well. So you could have all these devices communicating via Bluetooth at the same exact time. There's no need to manually be doing these sorts of activities one at a time by connecting to each one at a time. You could literally connect and communicate to all these together. And so the concept is you have this portable printer here, and it's a laminated label maker, and it's communicating wirelessly via Bluetooth to our Mobilize platform, and it gives you as a user the ability to tailor a PM sticker to your needs. So whatever information you want to be on there, you could manually type in what information you want to have in the different fields. You can organize, you can confirm whether you want those fields to be printed on the label. You can organize the order that you want, the vertical order that you want the information to be printed. You could select the PM inspection interval so that when it goes to select and print out the next inspection date, it does it based on the interval that you selected. You can also, if you happen to have finished testing a device that actually failed, you can actually, if you have this enabled, print out a failed sticker that can be affixed to the medical device just to help the users and everyone know, hey, look, this device is out of service or needs repair. Whatever information you want to have on the label, you would just enter it in here. So it gives me the ability to format and create a custom PM sticker, including customizable date format, so that I can print that PM sticker. They're all customizable fields, as I mentioned. And what's nice about these brother label makers, I'm sure you're familiar with, is that they're available in multiple colors. A lot of organizations like to kind of color code their PM stickers, and so this allows you to do that in 6 different colors. So there's various methods to transfer information. As I mentioned, there's not one standard protocol for data communications. Unfortunately, in our industry, unlike medical devices, there's not a standard communications method, so it makes it a bit challenging depending on what your database is and what its integration capabilities are. So our platform supports a variety of ways to be able to connect and move data. All depends on what your system is capable of doing, but we could do a wide range of them to make that integration happen. We also do support specific format, MT export format of electronic checklists. There's a lot of customers out there with CMS systems that support creating electronic checklists in this format that allow you to export them. And so we do support those electronic checklists as well. And then you also can utilize all of the share functions within our application to move data. So if you have network capabilities on your smart device, you can actually push the data to your network drive, push it maybe to a cloud drive, connect the data so that you can archive it in a central location in applications where maybe you're not utilizing a CMS system or don't have a CMS system with integration capabilities. You can also share data in more traditional ways, mail service that you're using if you want to email a report or something like that. And also for customers that are just kind of getting going and don't have advanced systems to move data around, we also include compatibility with a dual port flash drive that allows you to move data from your smart device to another location or archive it in some other means by manually kind of moving data around. So try to include on the platform a wide range of ways you can move data so that it fits your organization and what you prefer to do. So we're really partnering with the HTM community. Interesting is that our company really started by attending a biomed meeting in California many years ago, a CMIA meeting many years ago. Our owner, who had a lot of experience in designing medical devices, went to a CMIA meeting and wanted to make a medical device, and he asked, well, what medical device should we make? And the audience would say, no, don't make a medical device. Can you make test equipment that's more compact, more portable, more affordable, easier to use? And the owner didn't have any idea what they were referring to exactly, and they gave him some examples, and that was the light bulb for our company to get into the biomedical test equipment industry, and it's been fantastic. So we've, since day one, always looked to the HTM community as our guide. And what products should we introduce? What solutions can we help provide to make your jobs easier and more efficient to get completed? And so we decided to use this kind of app platform, as it has a lot of advantages. As you know, apps are surrounded by us in our everyday lives, and it's a platform that's very conducive to being able to add more features and keep expanding it as you go. It's not an enterprise type system with a fixed set of features that you buy it, and on that day, that's the features you get. As we add more features, those features just automatically push to all users. Even if they didn't have it at the time they purchased it, they will automatically get pushed out to all users. So as we expand this and expand its capabilities, everyone would have the ability to have those features available. There's no monthly annual license fee for the application, so you're not having to pay kind of a software fee per se on a monthly basis to have it. The only requirement is that you have Mobilize products for your facility, and then if you have Mobilize products, you can have as many copies of the application as you'd like. So there's no limitation there, and it makes it easier to kind of offer this to a wide range of customers. We're also going to be looking to expand the platform, as I mentioned, to other test equipment partners that the industry says, look, we don't always standardize on one brand. We use other devices, other brands that have their advantages in this particular scenario, or for these particular devices that we want to use. And so this will not be an exclusive platform for just Pronk Mobilize products. It's intended to be a open platform that allows us to integrate the right strategic partners that will benefit the HTM community. We are working on a Windows and Android version as well, so it won't just be the iOS. We started with iOS because it's the most common platform that is used in our industry within healthcare organizations. Honestly, we've been a little slow to work on these platforms, mostly because we've been adding more and more features to the Mobilize platform. Customers keep coming to us with other great ideas on additions we could do, and we're implementing these things, more integration capabilities, more test equipment integration partners, that sort of thing. So we're getting closer to being ready to start working on the Android and Windows versions as well. And our development philosophy is always grassroots, as I mentioned. We're always looking to you in the HTM community to be our guide as to what can we do to improve, what should we work on next, what solutions do you need. So definitely many thanks to everyone out there throughout the country, throughout the world that have partnered with us, and we look to you to help us know, well, what should we do next? What should we do next with the platform? What should we do next with our product lines? Any questions?
Thank you, Julio, for such a great presentation and for all of this valuable information. We are at the end of our time allotted, so we do have some questions that have come in, but for the audience, please rest assured that your questions will reach Julio, and he will be able to provide answers to you for those. Thank you again, Julio, for your time today and for this great presentation. I'd like to encourage everyone to visit our sponsor to learn more about the products and the services that they provide to our industry. Please visit pronktech.com. A quick reminder that you can receive your CE certificate by completing the post-webinar survey. The survey will be emailed 1 hour after the completion of today's webinar. You must complete the survey to receive your 1 CE credit from the ACI, and you will be able to download the certificate immediately after completing the survey. If you have any questions, please contact us at webinar@mdpublishing.com. We'll be back soon with another webinar. Please visit webinarwednesday.live for more details and complimentary registration. Thank you all and have a fantastic afternoon.